Hello, welcome all to the NSFW Dynasty Football Podcast. I'll just give you a little info on myself. I'm Mitch Prestine, and I play a lot of fantasy football. I'm in like 10 leagues a season. We do a little bit of redraft, some dynasty, some daily, even a little auction here and there. And my co-host, BJ Kolb.
Hey guys, I've been playing fantasy football since I've been out of the womb pretty much, it seems like. Did a lot of family leagues when I was younger. Now, obviously, since I'm older, I illegally gamble my money. So, like Mitch, I started playing Dynasty. I researched it for 3 years, started playing it this last year. I fell in love with the format. You know, it's everything that I wanted fantasy football to be. So that's why, we brought up and we started doing this. I dabbled in daily auction. I'm not really a big fan of that.
We've basically done a lot of the same stuff.
So, yeah, I'm excited. First episode ever.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, that's for sure. So a little bit of input onto why we're going to call it the NSFW Dynasty Podcast is because it's not going to be safe for work. Simple enough as that. We don't want to be censored. We want to say what we want to say. Make it feel like a real conversation between two of us, and maybe a little bit of chime in from our producer.
Yeah, and we all three of us have multiple fucking sailors, so that doesn't help either.
Yeah.
So kind of have to put that in.
Surprised we got 2 minutes in without saying till we got to our first swear word, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have most like sailors, lots of cocks in them.
Jesus Christ. All right, so on to what we will be covering during this podcast. Most of our focus will be on Dynasty football. We will add in a little bit of redraft. Since it's the off season right now, we're going to be doing a lot of rookie scouting, talking about drafting, the best way to start for your startups, league setup, trade scenarios, values, pickups, rankings, and a lot of the headlines that we'll get throughout the off season, especially since the combine and free agency is coming up.
Headlines is definitely where we get our most content now, because even with the headlines coming out, it definitely raises the value and lowers the value of a lot of people. So headlines is huge as of right now. As like you said, rookies coming up, that will take over almost all of our talking points.
This just in, guys. New event at the combine, tossing salad.
Jesus, get out of here, Nick. You don't even watch the combine. Do you even know what it is? You're just here because you know how to use a computer.
That's right.
All right. Anyways, on to what we're going to be talking about today is going to start with quarterback news.
We're going to go over the effects of the decisions on their value and the players around them, what you should do if you have them right now, and what you should do if you want them.
The next thing would be who the best young quarterbacks in the league are now, and who are the best ones coming out in the draft. And I think we're going to play a little game at the end.
Gotta love games.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
All right, so on to quarterback news. It came out around the Super Bowl weekend that, we all knew that Kirk Cousins was probably going to be a free agent unless he was tagged.
Yeah, the Redskins don't like him too much.
The chances that he was going to get tagged, though, were pretty high since he was tagged in 2015 and 2016 up to then. Well, this all got blown up Super Bowl day when the Redskins traded for Alex Smith. So first, Mitch, what do you feel about that trade? How do you feel about that trade?
I feel like for Alex Smith, it doesn't really change his value at all. The main talking point is Kirk Cousins. That's the main thing.
Exactly. With that whole thing, though, I was surprised that the Redskins ended up trading for old QB.
Yeah, so that surprised me.
Yeah.
Especially, such a conservative quarterback.
Exactly. But like you said, all the value fluctuation here lands with Kirk Cousins. In my eyes, his value really shot up because now he's able to pick his own destination.
That helps him a lot. It really does up his value, especially for the Kirk Cousins truthers out there.
Yeah. I mean, in my eyes, Kurt Cousins. Kurt. Oh my God, I pulled the GM. Kurt Cousins is an average quarterback, so I don't know how much his value would fluctuate. But
I think he's
with
a little
him,
more than average.
with him picking his spot, it does definitely rise. So,
Then it came out that the Redskins said that they may tag Cousins and try to trade him.
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
too risky. It's too risky because then you run the chance of the whole league turning your back on the Redskins, not paying the price what they want for Kirk Cousins, and then you're stuck with two quarterbacks that are getting paid above average salary.
And just screwing them from being able to sign players to new deals or free agents and possibly even their draft class.
Yeah, and as we all know from last year, that is a struggling organization because they did not do well.
Yeah, they were not very good. So all in all, I believe he'll be a free agent.
Yes, I am on the same boat.
The next quarterback news was Jimmy G signing a 5-year, $137.5 million extension with the 49ers.
Monster deal. That's
Largest
a lot of
deal in
risk.
the NFL.
That's a big risk, but he's undefeated in the NFL. Can't argue against that.
7-0. Who's going to be the first team to beat him? That's the real question.
I know. I thought he was going to lose one last year, but
Yeah, they finished pretty strong.
that signing is either going to make them all look really smart or really fucking stupid. That's for sure.
Well, and they only paid a second rounder for him. So
Yeah.
I think the Patriots got hosed on that, especially with them winning those last few games and knocking them from a first or second pick in the second round to ninth, I believe it is. Yeah. And then
he really does affect the value of everybody around him. You look at the talent on that team; it's not proven talent. They're all misfit toys from other teams.
except for Carlos Hyde, who
Except
could be
for-
gone this
yeah.
year.
But he elevated their level of play a lot more than what Beathard did or
Beathard
yeah.
beat it hard.
And the other guy that they had in there at the start of the year, can't remember his name.
I don't remember who it
Yep,
was.
that's how irrelevant it is.
Right.
So, yeah, next is going to be AJ McCarron. Obviously filed a grievance against the Bengals. Didn't want to be a backup anymore, and he was granted it. So now he's going to be hitting the free agent market. What
Yeah,
do you
that's-
expect out of him?
I think he's gonna go in. He's gonna be a Mike Glennon type player. He's gonna be a stopgap for maybe a year for a team who drafts a guy early or lets him sit for a year. Basically, it'll be a 1 year or a 3-year deal maybe, but 1 year guaranteed. And then they are free to cut him after this year when they're ready to start the rookie.
See, with AJ McCarron, though, I could see the team signing him as being their bridge quarterback onto the future, but I could still see him excelling what they thought he would do. He wasn't a bad quarterback in his limited playing time with the Bengals, but you just don't know.
He did almost win a playoff game until Vontaze Perfect fucked him up.
So he's definitely a quarterback in my eyes to keep an eye on.
I think he'll be all right. Yeah.
So
Next news is Tyrod is staying with the Bills. The Bills said they were not going to cut him like everyone thought they would.
yeah, but they're still open on trading him, so you're gonna have to see what happens there. I don't know what team would want to go out and pursue Tyrod Taylor.
I'm pretty
But-
sure he's still got a pretty big cap hit at that too. So.
Yeah, he did sign that big deal. So you're gonna have to see what happens there. All right, now the meaty news, the most recent news. Blake Bortles signing his massive contract.
It's not that massive in terms of quarterbacks.
For a player of his caliber, it's massive.
I think it helps spread his money instead of forcing to pay him 19, 18 million this year.
Anyways, signed a 5-year deal with the Jags.
No, three-
3-year deal with the Jags.
54.
Yeah.
And I think with incentives, it goes up to like 67 mil.
I don't know what they're doing there. That's my opinion.
I think they're trying to backload his contract, honestly.
I don't know.
But maybe not, because they probably want to not have to use him for 3 full years.
All right, fuck sticks. Pertaining to the last segment you were just talking about, the quarterbacks, how does this news affect their dynasty redraft value? And what would you do if you had any of these quarterbacks or wanted them?
All right, do you want to start with Kirk first?
No, we'll do Kirk last. Let's start
Okay.
with AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron. Oh, I definitely think it raises his value because now he's on the market. He is in the running for a starting job.
When he's not a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Anymore, exactly.
So now, if he is in your free agent pool, if you run a short roster, definitely take the chance and just pick them up and stash them at the end. When it comes out to going out and getting them, I don't know if I would. Personally,
I mean, if he's out there, yes, but I'm not gonna give up and make a trade for him.
If you really needed a quarterback, I guess I would give a mid-round rookie pick for him and see what happens.
Late third, early fourth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It all depends on how long your rookie drafts are. But yeah, late third, early fourth, and just see what happens. With those picks, you have room to play with. Like, chances are you're not gonna get your stud there, so you can take chances with.
And somehow, if you did already have him, why not hold him? Don't sell now. Wait to see what he can actually do on the field. Maybe he ends up being solid, and you don't need him, and you can get something good for him.
With that, you do run the risk of him going to a shitty situation and have his value be zero. But like you said, it's worth the risk.
A late third versus zero isn't much.
Yeah, it's worth the risk. So if you have him, definitely hang on to him, see what happens, and cross your fingers he goes out and kills it the first few weeks.
All right. What about Jimmy G? Right now, I think Jimmy G is probably the highest value of all these guys.
Oh, definitely. The contract speaks for itself. When an organization goes out and says, hey, we trust you this much, your value takes a jump.
Only seen you start 7 games, too. It really helps.
And like I said before, when he started, it's not like he just did good. He raised the value of every player around him. And in a quarterback, especially in a fantasy quarterback, that's what you want to see. Mm-hmm. A guy that can go out there and no matter what skill set is thrown at you, like I said, he was playing with a bunch of misfits from other teams and low-round rookies. He raised the value of a Trent Taylor or a
Marquise Goodwin, who was an absolute nobody with the Bills.
Yeah, and he wasn't really doing anything with Beat It Hard, and Beathard, and stuff like that. So, I mean, he went out there and he raised the value of all their players, so you're definitely not selling him. No. You give him that one more year and see what happens.
Well, I mean, honestly, right now, he's probably worth the most, and there may be a guy out there who's willing to give you a mid-first for him just because name value and just what he's done so far. I mean, granted, he didn't have the greatest touchdown to interception ratio last year, but I also think he was traded mid-season and had to learn the playbook.
But that makes what he did
brought W's.
Yeah, that's made what he did that much more impressive.
Oh, and for all of you who don't know, Jimmy G is Jimmy Garoppolo. We kind of.
But also. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy G, I would hold him. But like you said, if you get a first-round pick, then it's something to think about. Because we always seen the quarterbacks that went out there, have done good in short spurts, and then fall flat on their face and never do.
And in a super flex league, I'd want even more. I'd want a high first.
Oh, super flex, yeah.
And probably a...
Well, super flex, all your quarterbacks are ranked so much more higher than normal players.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So definitely, I mean, don't completely take them off the block. Leave them on there, but set your price point pretty high to where if a guy wants them, he must really want them to get them. That's
otherwise you wait till halfway through next season, hope he's progressed even more and his value's even higher, and then you can rake in some stuff for him, I believe.
Oh yeah, you could get a lot for him if that happens.
All right, what about Tyrod? What does this do for him?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's exactly where it was.
Yep.
I mean, granted, now you got at least one more full season for him instead of him potentially being cut and going to another team and being a backup or.
I mean, he's not
something.
Like, I don't want to get what we're telling people wrong. Like, I don't want to misinterpret of what we're saying. He's not a bad quarterback.
No, not
but
he's
not. He's not that game-changing fantasy quarterback. Like, you'll have good games because of his running ability.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the high floor. That's the thing. He's got a high floor, high ceiling. It's often just going to hit that high floor.
Another thing, he doesn't really have the weapons. I mean, they try to put pieces around him.
They try to put a slow piece around him after they get rid of Sammy Watkins and Bob Woods and a Marquise Goodwin. All in one offseason, you're going to revamp your wide receiver core and give them 3 slot receivers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bringing in Kelvin Benjamin based off what he did his rookie season, I get it. But you got to know his
shows up like Eddie Lacy to training camp. Fucking dumbass.
Yeah, he's definitely not helping himself.
6'4", 6'5" receiver weighing in at 270. That's not gonna happen.
When your favorite target is your tight end, you have things to worry about there.
So right now, unless you're super desperate for a quarterback, I don't know if I'd want to give.
I wouldn't
anything.
I wouldn't
for him,
trade.
honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade anything for him either. Let him sit there. If he does bad enough, he's gonna get cut. So if you really need a quarterback, you can pick him up off your waiver wire. That's where I stand
Yeah.
with him.
I don't think he's there.
And he doesn't
on a lot
have.
of
He
waivers,
reached
though.
his full potential too. So it's not
Yeah, that
like you
was-
can bank on.
That was the year
potential.
Cam won his MVP. That was his greatest year too so far, I believe.
Yeah. So with a guy like that, where you can't bank on potential, you already seen what you got. Don't make a move for him.
Yep.
Just let him sit there.
So, question for you guys: Andre the Giant or Eli Manning? Go.
Wait, what?
In what?
In what context?
As your quarterback,
Oh well,
Andre the Giant.
Mitchell.
I'm gonna go Eli because the guy.
That's
isn't
fucking
dead.
terrible. Next question.
All right, Blake Bortles is our next guy.
Oh fuck.
I honestly think this helps his value just because now he's got a 3-year deal and he's not.
Oh, fantasy wise, it
Yeah,
definitely helps
exactly.
his value.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But it literally only helps his value. And if you have him, and with this little value bump, you sell him right away. You sell him. He's not. I don't like him. I hate him.
Hey, he did have some nice rushing ability at the end of last year and in the playoffs.
Yeah, because he can't throw the ball, so all he can do is run.
Thing is, they could re-sign A-Rob, and he's got a number 1 back instead of playing with a bunch of number 2 or 3 receivers.
I'll cry if A-Rob resigns.
I hope you do. I want to see it.
I'll bawl my eyes out if you. I'm tearing up right now thinking about him resigning. It will drastically hurt his value if he resigns for it, though.
Here's a BJ rant coming on.
I mean, you think about it. This guy was like Colin Kaepernick, throwing fucking knuckleballs. Just last year. Granted, he had a nice stretch, but after that, he
The
did
guy's
nothing.
always been a fantasy viable quarterback. That's the one thing. Like,
Last year, he wasn't.
he wasn't the worst.
He was pretty fucking bad.
I think. I don't even want to say it because I'm not positive, but I think he was a top 20
He was pretty
quarterback last year points wise.
If A-Rob was smart, he would drag on this contract extension as long as he can until the tag window is over, and then he was like, deuces, I'm going to go get myself a good quarterback.
Well, even at that point, if they're close, I think they're going to tag him either way just so he can't walk.
I hate
And
that.
they have up
I
until
hate
March
that.
6th, so
If that
Doesn't really
happens,
push the deadline.
if that happens, if that happens, what do you do with A-Rob?
I keep him.
You keep him?
Yes.
I mean, all right. So I would keep him too. But if he goes out the first 3 to 4 weeks and does absolutely nothing, and Blake Bortles is what we know Blake Bortles
then you're
is, but
stuck
she's a
holding
bad
him.
quarterback.
You have to hold him at that point. You can't sell him at his lowest value.
I'm just realizing how fucked I am right now. So.
I don't own any Arrows.
Oh,
so.
that's awful. That was the. I did not like waking up to that news.
Oh, I saw it last night, so
Yeah, you were probably up.
I was. All right, let's get to the real bread and butter now. Kirk Cousins. This is the guy that every team that needs a quarterback is salivating over. The piece
Yes.
they need, or so think they need to make them a contender.
Yes. I mean, he's an average quarterback that can play to the above average level. He's not going to be your elite Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady,
no.
but
I do think
He
he's
will-
above average. I think he is a top 10 quarterback, maybe 12, depending on.
I mean,
how
you
you
could
value
easily
older
put up the
guys.
numbers like Case Keenum, given the right spot. But
Well, if he goes to the Vikings, I feel like the Vikings are going to open up even better than they were last year.
So, like, in a more layman's term comparison, this is more like a Queens hooker versus a Las Vegas hooker.
yes.
pretty much,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Except for one guy, you only have to pay $18 million to $20 million a season. The other guy, you're probably paying closer to $28 million.
But no matter what, once you get them into the hotel room, you still have to pay that money. Or team room, I guess you could say in this situation.
Yes.
Yeah, you still got to pay the money. But if he does hit the free agent market, his value skyrockets because, like we said before,
It depends.
he can-
It all depends on landing spot. That's the worst part. Like, I
But
just want to
okay,
see where.
all right, but we can't get in the mind of Kirk Cousins. But what you can do is he is
But if
he
goes
is 30 now, right? He is 30.
Is he 30? I think he turned, at the very least, he turns 30 before the season.
Okay. Anyways, he'll at the very least he'll turn 30 before the season. Why would he take more money at this point on his career to go to a bad team when he could go to, like what you said, a good team in
That's
the
what I've been
Vikings
saying to you.
and start winning games, or the Giants? Still putting the Giants out there.
That's not happening. But you think he's going to go to the Jets just because the Jets are going to give him a blank check.
We will say about that for our next topic here. But all I'm saying is he'll end up going, in my eyes, to a good team that will be able to win now and be real competitive, which really skyrockets his value. Now, am I going to wait until more information comes out? Yeah, I'm going to wait. But I'm definitely going to keep him on my trade list.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely on a guy that you're searching for.
Yeah. If you need a quarterback, he's definitely the first one on your list. He's not going to be overly expensive, and he's going to give you numbers.
Until you run into one of those stupid fucking Kirk Cousins truthers.
Oh, yeah, then you're fucked.
Milk dick, that stupid fuck.
Try to white collar trade for Kirk Cousins?
No.
Oh, okay.
But, like I was saying, I think his value is still relatively similar as of now, until you see where the landing point is. And
I mean, the initial jolt of the news definitely.
Well, it spiked, but since it's been a couple weeks now, it's really.
I mean, there's news that needs to come out on it. But what would happen if, for some reason, the Redskins decide to take him? Where would you value him then? And if they try to take him and trade him,
I'd try to talk to the guy who has him, tell him that he may be fucked in a backup role behind Alex Smith, and try to get him for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I would say that's a smart move, to be honest.
I mean, even if I had to give up like a second, I'd probably do it. I'd give up a second.
If you're always trading for someone, you're always trying to tell the person you're trading with how shitty position that their player is going to be.
You always try to give them the worst of the worst info. Stealing my talking point on that part?
Yep, pretty much.
Fucking cocksucker.
All right, moving on.
All right, and on that note, my brain's turned to pretty much ground hamburger. We're going to take a break. These guys are going to go inject some steroids, and we'll be back.
Pump some iron.
But of course, the break won't be a break to you guys, so just keep your headphones in. Bye. Welcome back, guys. These guys are done comparing their dick sizes in the bathroom, so we'll get back to it.
Mine's bigger.
You wish. You're looking at your big toe.
Still bigger than yours?
Right. All right. So, on that point, next question. Best case scenario for Kirk to land.
All right, I'm going to start. My golden spot for Kirk is Cleveland. Just what he can do to help that team not be the shithole that it's been for the last God knows how long.
Cleveland will always be a shithole.
Well, I mean, the city itself, yeah. But the team, also with having the first pick of the draft and the fourth pick of the draft, they could really solidify it by drafting Saquon and grabbing a defensive guy. What do you think about Cleveland?
I mean, I see Cleveland as a potential landing spot. I don't know if that's where he's going to go if he goes to a bad team, though. That's all I'm going to say. I mean,
how Cleveland, can you not, though? They had a top 15 defense last year.
Yeah.
And they got weapons.
They have one weapon.
They have Josh Gordon.
That's it.
They have an injury-prone Corey Coleman.
He's not. I don't consider him as being a weapon because he's injury-prone.
Yeah, he may be injury-prone, but I'm not the biggest guy on him, and when he plays well. Like, look at it. He's had, I think, 3 2-touchdown games in his 2 seasons there.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins also just came away from an injury-prone producer in Jordan Reed. So why would he want to go back to another situation where he's dealing with another injury-prone
producer? Okay, you want to bring up Jordan Reed. David Njoku is like a young Jordan Reed without the injury problems.
He really hasn't done a lot of anything.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you could blame it on the quarterback. You can blame it on that.
You know how long it takes a tight end to adjust to the league?
Other than Evan Ingram,
it's usually 3 by your third year is a breakout year for tight ends. Look at Travis Kelce. He didn't do shit his first 3 seasons.
I'm just saying you can't bring up Njoku like that.
Njoku and Reed have a lot of similarities.
I don't see it. I mean, I do like Njoku. I definitely would take a chance on him, but I don't. I don't know right now. I don't know right now.
All right. Anyways, we both talked about Cleveland, who was the first person on our list. Who's your number 2 team?
Cleveland's not my first person on the list.
Look at the sheet.
I told you I was switching that to the Jets. Nick!
Just go. You can edit.
All right. So the first team on my list, the most likely place that he'll go, is not necessarily the best place that I think he should go to, is the New York Jets.
Why? Because they're gonna offer him a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, that's why I think why he's going to go there. If he's going to go to a bad team, it's because he's going to get a lot of guaranteed and a lot of fucking money. And the Jets have made it clear they're willing to do that to bring him on the roster.
Yeah, they're thinking.
Where the Cleveland Browns are remaining silent. And the Cleveland Browns, in my eyes, I also think that they're also looking at A.J. McCarron.
I don't think so. But
I mean, they're looking for a Band-Aid. They want to draft
the Jets are talking about offering him $60 million for the first season, and then also fully guaranteeing his contract after that.
That's another reason why I'm not saying it's a good business move. I'm saying if he's going to a bad team, it's going to be in a situation like that where he's getting all of his money no matter what the fuck he does.
I just don't know why he'd go there. Their only weapon in that whole
because of the money.
It doesn't matter. He's 30, like you said, he's 30 years old. He's going to want to win. And going there, his only weapon is a guy who's going to come in a cop's officer's fucking wife's eye.
That is his best weapon, but
they got no one. They don't have a running back. Tight end, he's all right at best, and then they have a slow ass Nunwa who's a possession guy.
Don't talk bad.
And then Jermaine Kearse, who's been shit everywhere he's been.
All I'm saying, if he's going to a bad team, because let's get real here, we're talking about two really shitty teams.
But
two really shitty teams.
The thing is, Cleveland's been building up a shitty team for years.
If he's going to a bad team, he's going to the Jets. They have the better coach. They have weapons. They have not better weapons, but they still have a rising Robbie Anderson, even though he wants to come in on.
They don't have any weapons.
Robbie Anderson.
Their two best running backs are over 30.
You're talking.
Receivers are shit other than Robbie Anderson, who's a troublemaker.
You're talking like Kearse, like he hasn't done anything in his career though. There's been times that he was a viable fantasy option and the wide receiver death hole that is.
Other than this past year when he had 3 games where he was a fantasy viable option, with the Seahawks he didn't do shit ever.
What wide receiver other than Doug Baldwin does anything in Seattle?
Lockett had a pretty nice season his rookie year there.
Oh, how many years was that?
2.
And how many receiving touchdowns came off of that?
7.
Not receiving. Returning, but yeah, still, that's not a lot.
Yeah, he had 7 receiving touchdowns and another 2 return touchdowns last season.
I'm saying Seattle is where wide receivers go to die. Or get drafted to die because they don't sign anybody.
Paul Richardson had a decent season this year, too.
We'll see what he does next year.
And then you look at Jimmy Graham with 10 touchdowns.
Jimmy Graham's good as gone.
Well, I mean, you can't even call Russell old anymore because he's 30 this offseason.
All I'm saying is you can't look at his past years because Seattle has proven that they don't like to throw the ball.
I just don't know. Jermaine Kearse isn't any good.
He's going to the Jets. If he's going to a team.
Enough about the shitty Jets. That was my number 2 team, but I don't agree with it that well. So let's go to your number 2 team.
I say he goes to Denver.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I don't like it either, but it kind of makes sense. He's not going to be the guy that lights up the fantasy scoreboard or lights up the stats in regular season. So he's going to need a good defense behind him. Denver has that, and they're going to be able to keep either DT or Sanders.
Well, I think Denver's defense is A, past their prime, and B, they're looking at moving on from Aqib Talib, which is going to be a huge fucking loss.
But they're deep at cornerback. I mean, if they were able
to get rid of him, they're too deep.
If they were able to get rid of one position, it's definitely the cornerback. I'm not saying that's a good move. It would definitely hurt their defense, but it's the position that they would be able to shed salary cap on.
And even at that, look at their offense. Their 2 best receivers are 30-year-old receivers.
Yeah, but
you don't want to still get another the same age as your quarterback.
They get another
that age?
3-4 years out of them.
Okay,
maybe not Emmanuel Sanders because he relies too much on his speed.
So does
but
DT. That's
Demaryius
what
Thomas.
DT thrives on.
Demaryius Thomas also has size, so he can evolve his game to be successful once he loses a step.
But once Jordy hit 30, everyone thought the same thing about him, and look at that. He fell off quicker than everyone thought.
He fell off with a second-string quarterback. I mean, if you have a chance to buy Jordy, do it because he has A-Rod.
That's not what this podcast is about.
I know, but you brought him up.
Yeah, well, we're Packer fans. So.
But no, my second team is Denver. I think with that solid, that top defense that they have, it's not the best anymore, but it's still a top end defense. I think it'll suit his play well because he's not the greatest quarterback.
And another thing that I dislike about it is for them to get Kirk, they have to shed C.J. Anderson and somebody else at least. And they're so high on Devontae Booker, who I don't even think is
I was just
a
gonna
running
say,
back.
I was just gonna say, is C.J. Anderson leaving even that big of a deal?
I do. I think he's a very solid running back. He's
he definitely is.
Tackles guy, and he's reliable in the receiving game.
He's definitely a solid running back and everything like that, but they were running a timeshare with those two. And they also have a young quarterback, D'Angelo Henderson,
who
coming up
won me
behind
a
him.
fantasy championship this year?
Yeah, you're fucking welcome.
C.J. fucking Anderson.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm saying I don't think it would hurt their offense as much as what you think it will.
I do, because I don't think Devontae Booker can run through the tackles worth of shit.
But they also have D'Angelo Henderson.
Oh, okay, 5'6", 140 pounds. Okay,
he showed a
that's
lot.
Real,
he showed a lot.
Well, they didn't use him in the regular season worth of shit.
Yeah, because they signed
Jamal fucking Charles. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so our next teams, we each have one team left, and these are probably easily the two best teams for them to go to. Or for him to go to. These are our golden teams. You want to go first, or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think if the Giant, I think you should go to the Giants. If they can make it work with the salary cap, shed salary, get rid of Eli, is by far the best spot for him to end up. In doing that, you are now forcing the Browns into taking a quarterback with their 1-1, which will let Saquon fall to him, and then he'll have OBJ, Evan Ingram, and Saquon all to spread the ball around to.
The only thing
that is where he's going to play with the best weapons.
I don't agree. Because of salary cap.
I mean, that is the one biggest thing. They need to shed salary. They can't just cut Eli. They need to find a trading partner. Which now the one realistic trading partner is gone because the Jaguars just signed Blake Bortles. So it got a little bit harder, but I still think it can be done. I'm
not sure because think about it. OBJ wants to be the highest paid player in the whole NFL. He's up after next year.
Yeah, but if you go up to OBJ and be like, hey, give us enough room where we can get Kirk and you can get your quarterback for the rest of your fucking
He's
career.
He's going to say, go fuck yourself.
Oh, I mean, he deserves to be paid.
The guy's a fuck boy. Have you seen his hair?
He does deserve to be paid, and I don't blame him for wanting to be paid. But I think if they say, hey, we have a way to get your quarterback for the rest of your career, you know who's going to be throwing you the ball, and then I think you would kind of look at it differently.
I'm not positive.
When you put him in an offense like that with that amount of weapons, he goes from an average quarterback to a good quarterback just because of the weapons, the OBJs, the Evan Ingrams, and then potentially Saquon around them.
And then at that, their defense is a little suspect. Paper, they're a great defense.
Yeah.
Realistically, they are not.
I think their defense performance last year was more because of McAdoo and his coaching style than anything. Because, like you said, they should be really good. They should be.
And that's why I think my team, or not my team, because I hate this team with a passion, but the team I think he should go to is where he's going to go to. And because of cap space. Are you done with your team so I can talk about...
Yeah, you're good.
All right. The Minnesota Vikings. Over $50 million in cap. Top 5 defense. 2 top receivers in the NFL. A good tight end. And a great young running back.
A touchdown machine for a tight end.
Yeah, and their offensive line improved last year. It's just the perfect mixture.
They completely overhauled their offensive line for next year, so it worked out for them.
I just think it's such a great landing spot for him that, as a Packer fan, I would hate for it to happen. But as a fantasy player, fuck yes. I have so much Savon Diggs that, yes, give them to me.
Yeah, I know. And the only reason why they weren't on my last team was because I just don't want to see it to happen. It makes our road so much harder.
I know, yeah.
It makes sense. It really does. It's definitely a step up from Case Keenum.
Oh, easily.
I would say go out and say it's a step up between the other two, Sam Bradford and Bridgewater too. He's a proven quarterback in the league. He's a proven average, in my eyes, quarterback in the league, and that's all they need. That's all they need, though.
Yeah, honestly, all they need is a game manager like Case was, especially with the talent around him.
I get it. I don't personally, my own feelings. I definitely don't want to see it happen. I hope they're so in love with Teddy Bridgewater that they just bring him back.
I hope it happens, and I hope the defense isn't quite as good, so the Packers still have a chance. But that's about it.
I mean, A-Rod's still
just because
be good,
fantasy for fantasy, I have a couple Vikings, and I would like to see their offense.
I mean,
thrive.
With him going to the Vikings, all their offensive weapons, their stock goes through the fucking roof.
Yeah, and Stephon Diggs is already a top 15 wide receiver in startups. That probably brings him closer to top 10.
For fantasy purposes, this is probably the best spot for him to go.
Easily.
It raises the value of all the weapons around him.
You have a running back who can handle 30 carries a game?
Oh, you don't know if he can handle.
You have a running game that can handle 30 a game because Latavius Murray
and Dalvin Cook, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, torn ACL. But Latavius Murray, he came in week 7 through 17 last year as the number 10 fantasy running back.
I mean, Latavius Murray will be a good backup for Dalvin. I just don't really want to see it happen.
Yeah. We're in the same boat. I just know that it's too good of a spot for it to not happen.
It'll make them too good.
What I want to see is the Vikings franchise Case before free agency hits. Granted, they could still afford him. Still afford Kirk Cousins with that. Especially not having any. Yeah, but they may just have a viable backup. They always have a viable.
If anything, they would keep Teddy as their backup.
If they can keep him around with what they're working on.
He's probably going to stay around no matter what. He tore his injury is supposed to be a career ender, and they kept him on the roster. A lot of teams would have cut ties.
Yep. All right.
All right, so guys, what do you want to talk about next? Looks like I got who are the best young fuckface QBs coming in the league?
That would be fantasy football.
Oh yeah, that one. Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna go first. My number 1 quarterback in fantasy football is Carson Wentz.
No real complaints here. Definitely showed a lot. I think the only thing that really hold him back is his injury, his ACL injury.
Yeah, so. That'll hold back his rushing ability a bit next year, and he's going to have to be a little bit more of a pocket passer. But he's shown all the traits to be a great quarterback in this league.
It's not like when RG3 went down with his injury and he just couldn't throw the ball. Well, Carson Wentz can throw the ball.
Exactly. He's a pinpoint passer, and he's in a great offense as well.
So I really don't mind him being at 1. Me personally, I would go with Goff with my number 1. Just because he hasn't sustained the injury, he has an offensive mastermind as their head coach, and he showed drastic improvement. You can't really ask for much more.
And on top of it, he's got one of the best young head coaches in the whole NFL.
Yeah.
So
totally does. And you throw that in with, he has Todd Gurley, Sammy Watkins right now, and he's looking pretty good.
I think Sammy leaves, but still.
Yeah, but that's for another day.
It's not like the fucker used him anyways, and was still a great quarterback this past year. So we had our number 1s and 2s flip-flopped.
Yep. I had Wentz 2. You had Goff 2. Like I said, Wentz is only at my 2 because of the injury. I want to see really what he comes back as. So that's why I bumped up Goff.
Yeah, for sure. I see how that works as well. But next is where we vary a little bit. My number 3 guy is Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy GQ, the guy. I think he's just, so far through what he's done, he's shown that he's a capable quarterback without having anyone around him, honestly.
So far for what he's done, he's probably the best quarterback out there because he hasn't lost the fucking game. So
that really helps.
I get it. I don't like the sample size, but then again, with my guy, there's no sample size.
Well, and also with Jimmy G, like, he's been in the league for 4 years now, so it's not like...
sat behind the best quarterback, arguably of all time, even though I would put A-Rod over him, but...
Yeah.
You know, he sat behind Tom Brady. He's got to learn from Bill Belichick. Those are all pluses in his book.
Yep.
The only thing I worry about Jimmy G is when quarterbacks leave that system, they usually fail. And he has started proving that he's not going to be like that, but they usually fail.
I do think he's a different type of quarterback than the other quarterbacks that have been with the Patriots.
Yeah, well, I mean, even like Jacoby Brissett has been highly disappointing. So
I mean, with where he was put, the Colts are just so fucked beyond belief.
And then if you are owning,
and he started a week after being there, like a week and a half. He was only there for a week and a half and started a game.
And he is a lot younger. This is only his second year, so we'll give him that. My number 3 is going to be Pat Mahomes from KC.
The potential is through the fucking roof.
That's why I have him there.
You're Mr. Brett Favre 2.0.
He is. You watch that game that he had started against the Denver defense with no starters around him. He made some throws that only Brett Favre could make.
Well, that's because he just fucking rears back and chucks it at the dude.
What did Brett Favre do?
The same thing. That's what I'm saying. That's what he did.
Yeah. I mean, granted, his numbers in that game weren't that good, but his flashes from a rookie...
Yeah, he also didn't throw a touchdown, but still. Whatever.
But his flashes from a rookie that didn't play all year, you can't deny that he looked good. And yes, you can say he didn't throw a touchdown, but he is also playing against one of the top defenses.
I wasn't using that against him. I'm just saying
Yeah, but
you even see him at his full potential there.
If people wanted to say that, he was playing with a bunch of nobodies against one of the top defenses in the league in Denver. So
yeah, definitely.
I mean, Mahomes, I have him there, like you said, potential alone. He proved a lot to me in that game, so I put him above, like all your other young quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, I do like Mahomes, so yes.
I put him ahead of Jimmy G just because of age.
Well, and
he is younger.
Like I have 2 guys for my next part, and I guess
you're cheating and
I am kind of cheating, but they're along the same lines. Mahomes actually has a full year more experience than they do, but I got 2 rookies coming. I think that Lamar Jackson, he's the fucking truth. That's my guy. I think
I wouldn't call him the truth.
I'm calling him my
truth.
I'm a truther. I'm a guy who's not like, oh, he's black, let's throw him at wide receiver because he's fast. No.
A lot of NFL scouts are telling him to do that.
No NFL scouts are. The people that are saying it are guys who saw what Terrell Pryor did. Just random fucking fantasy football fans.
I mean, I don't think he should go to wide receiver. I think he should stay at quarterback. I'm not at the point where I'm calling him truth.
All you have to do is just, from last year to this year, watch the fucking tape. Just watch him go through progressions. He sits in that fucking pocket and looks at his guys until he's like, fuck, I can't stand around anymore. He makes 2-3 progressions. Even looks at his running back as his 4th before he's like, all right, I'm going to run it, tuck it, and go 50 yards for a fucking touchdown. But I'm a fucking beast.
In my eyes, if you're going to be the truth at quarterback in the NFL, you need to make your shitty team in college competitive. I don't think he really did that.
Yes, he did.
I don't think he did.
He was a Heisman winner last year.
Last year, not this year.
This year, they still only lost 3 or 4 games. I think it was 4, including the bowl game.
And he doesn't really play anybody.
He's in the ACC.
He doesn't really play anybody.
The ACC is a good conference.
Okay.
It's better than the Pac-12.
Who do you play out of the ACC?
Everyone. He played them all. He fucking was good. The guys that got 57 passing touchdowns in 2 seasons and only 18 or 19 interceptions in those same 2 seasons.
He didn't make his team as competitive as what it should be.
And he also had almost 3,200 rushing yards in those 2 seasons with another, I don't know exactly, 30-something touchdowns there.
He didn't make his team as good as what it needed to be.
Did you watch any Louisville games?
Fuck no.
They had one of the worst defenses in the whole fucking country. They were god fucking awful. It was stupid.
The Packers have one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
Yeah. And how'd they do?
Well, A-Rod's been doing pretty good with them, hasn't he?
Okay, now you're gonna compare him to A-Rod.
You said he was the truth.
I did say he's the truth.
That means he's going to be one of the best.
That doesn't make him A-Rod, and A-Rod also was not that good in college. How good was his college team? Suck a dick, faggot. Jesus.
I wouldn't be throwing the F word out there like that.
No, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
I wouldn't be doing that.
I'm not. Well, whatever. I won't even go there.
Yeah,
and my other guy, Baker Mayfield. The guy reminds me of a young hybrid of Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football last year. He's gritty. He fucking does what he's got to do, and he's got the attitude. And I think it's a good version of attitude. Yeah, he did the crotch grab, blah, blah, blah. But that's what happens when the other team takes a late hit on you and then starts talking shit in your ear when they're down 2 touchdowns. Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Baker's going to be Baker. Kind of has those
If it weren't for Johnny Manziel, no one would even be considering any of his antics anything right now.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree.
All right. Anyways, that's it for that portion.
Since Mitch cheated.
All right, so staying with Mitch's homophobe here, best QBs coming out of the closet, I appear. So
coming out of college. Because he hit on it and had to be a cheater.
Yeah, I cheat a little bit, so you know who my first 2 are. I'm just saying, if you watch the Lamar Jackson tape, you'll know. You're not going to consider him a receiver. You're going to consider him a quarterback that keeps getting better and better and better every year. Yeah, his percentages, accuracy-wise, aren't the greatest, but every year they're improving and they're getting better.
I mean, I'm not saying that I don't like Lamar. I definitely don't think he should switch to wide receiver. I'm just not about ready to call him the truth.
I'm not saying you are saying he's...
Oh, there are definitely people.
There's way too many people
out there. There's definitely people out there that say that. Lamar Jackson definitely has the highest ceiling. Definitely has the highest ceiling. Because you add in that running ability, it puts him over everybody else. But
if you look...
Well, you know this about me. I am not the biggest about any quarterback coming out because we've seen too many quarterbacks kill it in college and then come to the NFL and do absolutely nothing. So, in my eyes, all these quarterbacks haven't really proven anything for me to... Like, I'm not going to go out and spend a first-round pick on any of these guys.
No, definitely not.
So,
I mean... Two
QB league, maybe a little bit different, but
there's a couple of them that'll go in the first round. If not all of them in a super flex.
I just don't think. I think I would wait if I had to lay first. I would wait and see if one fell to me. I wouldn't try to make moves for them.
Well, it all depends how many draft picks you have and where they are.
Yeah.
Like me in one of my leagues, I'm pretty set. I have 3 firsts. 2 of them will probably be early. I'll have a little bit of a later one. Then I'm going to have 2 early seconds, so I can take a stab at 1 or 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, Mayfield, Lamar, definitely, if you need a quarterback, they're definitely options.
We both do agree Baker is number 1, but we didn't hit on him as much because we got him out of the way with my last portion.
I mean, Mayfield, he's by far number 1, because like you said, I want to compare him to Drew Brees, but he has an arm. He can run, he can throw. He has everything that you're looking at for an NFL quarterback.
Well, I more went Drew Brees with the stature, arm strength, stuff like that.
He's more comparable to a slower Russell Wilson. He can do it, but he's not as quick. He has a little bit of, I would think, in my eyes, he has a little bit of better arm than Russell. So I would kind of lean towards that.
A thing about Russell that actually helps my Lamar Jackson comp is if you look at Russell before he came to Wisconsin, all of his completion percentages were below 60%, just like Lamar Jackson. Then you put him in a pro system like the Badgers did, heavy run game, and just let him do what he's got to do. That's when he really excelled.
I mean, I will give you this, if you're going to go back to Lamar Jackson. I did like how the University of Louisville, I was going to say Louisiana, Louisville, formulated their offense to help him succeed in the next level. They took him out of the shotgun. They made him take more stabs under center.
Yeah,
and everything like that. I do like that.
A little more pro style.
I do like that.
And another thing about Lamar, he had 82 carries this past season. Only 50 of them were scrambles.
Yeah.
So he doesn't just tuck it and run as much as you think that he actually does.
I mean, that's probably true. The thing that worries about me is he reminds me a lot of RG3. Same stature and everything like that. He's not a Cam Newton. Cam Newton can get away with running as much as he does because he's big.
Guy, yeah.
I'm worried. My biggest worry about Lamar Jackson is what happens if he himself, like
He's
so
thin
many
as a
other,
rail, too, yeah.
sustains a knee injury.
But if
loses
you watch it, he really does a good job of not taking a big hit. He moves his body around and takes a shoulder.
Well, he's gonna
have
to get out of bounds and slide, but I don't think he can take the beating to do that with the men in the NFL.
Yes.
In college, he could get away with it. I don't think he can do that, and that's the only my real only worry about him. So we hit on the 1 and 2.
Yep.
Your 1 and 2.
My
right?
1 and 2, and your 1.
All right.
So let's go with your 2, my 3.
My 2, your 3. I have Josh Rosen.
I like him a lot.
He has all the physical traits. He has an arm, good accuracy. The only reason why he's dropping in a lot of NFL drafts is because of his attitude. It's worse. It is worse than Mayfield.
He's not even like really dropping that far. Since he's still considered a top 5 pick.
But it's a lot of teams in the NFL have said they took him off of their board.
Yeah, but not the ones that need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that have a quarterback.
But I like him. I mean, he's not. His attitude is hard to describe. He's not as, I want to say, on-field cocky like Mayfield. He's more off-field, kind of like how A-Rod was when he came out and why he dropped.
Yes, I agree completely.
So I don't think his attitude would really get in the way where you're gonna start comparing him to a Manziel or anything like that. Again, with him, he didn't make his team competitive, even though his team was fucking awful. Like his whole team around him.
Yeah, the team was god awful.
I mean, you could say what he did what he could do to make him good. But I have him as my number 2 because I see all the traits, like I do in Mayfield, to be a competent NFL QB, a fantasy relevant QB, and
definitely
in the years to come. I do think he needs to sit a year or 2.
Yeah, no, I think a full year sitting behind him, mature a little bit, would be great for the guy.
Even with Mayfield, he's probably going to get put in a position where he doesn't, but,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if he does end up going to the Giants, like everyone says, maybe he sits half the season behind Eli before they're like...
I don't think they're going to do that to Eli, though. If he goes to the Giants, he'll...
Well, I mean, Ben McAdoo already fucked Eli, so...
Whatever.
Not in the true sense of that, but you know what I mean.
Then I guess my 3... is Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have him at 3 because guy has a fucking gun. He has loads of potential. But then I saw him miss a fucking pitching net from 10 yards away.
Yeah, that was
in the Senior Bowl. Yeah, and then the worries started to set in. And then in order for this guy to be successful or to be fantasy relevant, he needs to get into a system where he doesn't just sit 1 year. He needs to sit 3 to 4. Yeah, and just straight work on his
minimum. Honestly, the only spot that I see him going where that works is the Patriots. 2 years behind Brady before Brady kicks the rocks and goes.
I could see the Patriots. I don't think he's going to fall that way. Honestly, I think the Browns are going to draft him because that's like a Browns move to do.
Fuck him so hard.
That's a Browns move to do, so I can see them drafting him. I would like him to go to like an aging quarterback, like you said, even like a Steelers. And like, but
I don't know.
Chill.
Do you think they got 2 years left with Big Ben?
I think they got.
Maybe.
I think they got 2 to 3. He knows he has too many weapons around him right now to just quit. He's still a top end quarterback because of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Now, if Le'Veon Bell leaves for some reason, it's a different story.
The only thing I don't like about Josh Allen, played at a very small school.
Competition is a worry. Yep.
And on top of that, his completion percentage was even worse than Lamar Jackson's, I think.
I mean,
and that's rough.
For where he is playing, his completion percentage was pretty bad. But then again, you got to think about the talent that he played with too. Personally, I'm not weighing that much into my decision because if you're playing lesser talent and your talent around you is not good, it shouldn't
It's
really
equaled
matter.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have the athletic ability where
I know in
he
watching
can tuck it and run too. Like he's got that as a facet of his game.
I know in watching tape though, his wide receivers definitely let him down in a lot of games and dropped a lot of balls. So
But on top of it, it's a lot of the Zay Jones in Buffalo where the guy had a fuck ton of targets, but the guy just missed him, so he didn't have a chance to catch the ball.
I like Josh Allen. He's at my 3 right now because he does have a lot of potential. He just needs to hit the right system. And just to make you feel a little bit better about my stance on Lamar, I have him at my number 4.
Now, see, that's the thing. I have Darnold ahead of Josh Allen.
All right, I wouldn't put. No,
Just 'cause
I wouldn't touch Darnold.
Just when
touching
Darnold is fully in the game and his head's in it, the guy is a great quarterback.
But
once he gets
want
a little flustered, I think you can learn from that.
But if
That's
you're
the
getting
thing.
flustered in college, you're going to get flustered in the NFL. And you think about all the quarterbacks that came out of USC, what have they done other than Carson Palmer?
And Carson Palmer still had some pretty
they
shit
fell
years.
flat on their face. So my rule of thumb in drafting quarterbacks is never draft a USC quarterback. Ever. I don't care if he breaks every fucking record. I'm not touching
Hey,
him.
the thing is, people were saying the same about USC receivers, and then this past year, you had a couple breakout. You had
Yeah, but
Juju
they didn't-
and Bob Woods,
They didn't.
and Marquise Lee even had a nice little season for himself.
They didn't have the Mark Sanchez experiment holding them back. When you fumble running into the ass cheek of your own guy, you know something's wrong.
Okay, Sanchez, let's just not talk about him because that guy was.
I mean, but these past players, it affects your value on the players coming out. And when you have a history of producing bad NFL quarterbacks, with Carson Palmer maybe being the lone exception, their value is gonna go down.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up here, guys. We're gonna end with a little game. So, who are you trading, and for what? Who are you starting, and who are you gonna bench?
Between Wentz, Goff, and Kirk.
Yeah, between those guys, whatever.
All right, so I'm going to start with my trade, and for what? I'm going to try to trade Kirk Cousins. I think currently he's worth the most, and other than Wentz, coming off a torn ACL, so I don't think his value is where it should be. For a quarterback, I would aim at Trubisky and mid to late first, maybe an early second, depending on what kind of league you're in, what the other people value players at. For a running back, I would try to get Aaron Jones in a late second, mid-second, whatever you can get. But I think Aaron Jones is going to be a pretty valuable running back come 2019, and you're not going to be able to get him for that then. And last, for a wide receiver, if you need a wide receiver, I'd try to get my boy, Bobby Woods, and
You
second
fucking
as well.
hate Bob Woods.
Well, I'll like him a lot more once Sammy leaves. That's for sure.
Fucking God.
Yeah, but I'd try to get a
Wait.
pick with every single one of them.
So you're saying you think Kirk Cousins has a higher value than Goff? You just said that Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I mean, as of right now, yeah.
So are you saying because of him being able to pick his spot, he has a higher?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's if you value an age, Goff probably is a little more valuable, but I don't see people seeing the potential quite as high.
That's where me and you differ a lot too, is valuing because of age.
Yeah, I tend to go for the younger guys. But anyways, my start and bench goes as if healthy. I'd rather keep the younger guys on my roster too as well.
Yeah.
So if healthy, I'm gonna start Carson Wentz because of what we talked about before. I think he's the best of the three. He's young. He's got all the talent in the world. He showed it this year. And I'm going to bench Goff and have him as a bye-week replacement every week. Or if
That's
Carson
a
Wentz
very
gets hurt again.
valuable bye-week replacement.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And I'm going to have him for the next 10 years, too,
so
at least.
you're starting Wentz,
Yep.
even if let's say he's missing. Well, you're taking into account that he's not missing.
Yes, that's what I said, when healthy.
All right, you're benching Goff, and you're trading Kirk. All right.
Where are you at on this?
It's definitely close. They're all capable. I mean, they're all capable quarterbacks. You're definitely going to get better output, I think, between Wentz and Goff in the long run. I think I would start Goff because I'm not taking into account that I think he's going to miss some time.
I know. I just try to switch it up a little bit.
So I'm going to start Goff. And then wait. No, I'm going to start Kirk. I'm not going to start Goff. I'm going to start Kirk.
Isn't that what you said last time?
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Okay.
I'm going to start Kirk.
Even if Kirk ends up on the Jets, that's why I would not start. Okay.
Yep, even if he ends up on the Jets. Because I will start Kirk because I think Kirk will get me through until I'll get the guy that I'm going to bench, and that is Wentz when he gets healthy.
I guess McCown did show this season that he can be a valuable quarterback.
And then I'm going to trade Goff because I think Goff has the highest value. You're trying to trade away either, if you don't trade away Goff, you're trying to trade away either an aging quarterback or a quarterback that's coming off an ACL injury. That does kind of drop the value. So I think Goff has a little higher value than both of them as of right now. So I'm going to try to trade Goff for as much as I can. I think I could get a good amount for him. If I'm looking at a wide receiver, I'd probably look for a guy like that either struggled last year or was hurt, kind of like Allen Robinson or if I traded for Allen Robinson, it's straight out.
There's no way.
For a quarterback?
You'd have to toss something in with Goff.
I'm not tossing anything in if I'm trading Goff.
Well, then you ain't getting A-Rob.
A-Rob's coming off an ACL injury.
I mean, you may be able to get Sammy Watkins.
That was my next guy.
Okay.
That was my next guy.
I think A-Rob's value is way too high right now because...
Not if he gets tagged.
Yeah, it
fucking plummets.
People are still dreaming about his wide receiver... Or what did he finish that year? Was he wide receiver 1 with the 1,400 yards and 14
Something
touchdowns?
Like that.
It was pretty close to that, yeah.
But if I was Goff, I guess my high point would be Allen Robinson. That's who I would first contact. And then, yes, like you said, my next wide receiver I would be looking at would be Sammy Watkins.
The only thing about Sammy Watkins is there's so many truthers out there who would never do it.
Well, that too. I guess I would fall down. I think Moncrief is such a talented wide receiver. I think I would fall down.
Trade, you want a late.
But I'm gonna get something else with him. But if these two guys are driving a hard bargain, I would go down to Moncrief just because he has all the talent there.
He's going on to a 1-year deal no matter where he goes to, and if he can stay healthy for the whole year.
So I'll even go with Moncrief and 1 to a mid to late 1 and an early 2, with it added on. If I was looking at running back, that's where it kind of gets a little sketchy because since some people value running backs a lot more than wide receivers. Mm-hmm. I think Aaron Jones,
like I said,
would be a good starting point. I mean, you're obviously not going to get the Le'Veon Bells or the Dalvin Cooks even coming off an injury. Maybe my high point would be a Christian McCaffrey because he's just He's just a PPR guy. He hasn't done anything.
You are valuing quarterbacks way too high.
I'm just not that high on Christian McCaffrey. He hasn't really proved anything.
He had over 100 targets this year.
He's a PPR back. I get it. If you're playing in a PPR league, it's probably not going to happen.
Who the fuck plays standard?
All right, my high maybe Carlos Hyde. There you go.
I was gonna say
there you go, Carlos Hyde. That's
straight up.
What,
you could potentially get that, especially with Carlos Hyde being a free agent.
Yep, I would do Carlos Hyde. The thing is that I kind of rank those two close.
Okay.
So
I have
Carlos Hyde and
McCaffrey higher than.
I'm just not a McCaffrey. I'm not a McCaffrey fan.
I always have been, and you saw the potential he has. Like
I was when he was in Stanford,
Packers,
but then he went in the NFL and his only good game was against, running wise, was against the Packers. He received the ball, like he can do that.
That's a huge factor.
I think he's kind of like a Reggie Bush. I think you have that type of.
I think he's a little better.
But anyways, yeah. So that's what I would be looking for.
What about if you were trying to get a quarterback in replacement for red trade Goff for a quarterback and something?
It would have to be a guy that has potential, or I would try to trade it for a pick. I mean, it's going to vary. If you're in Superflex, you're probably not going to get it. But if you're in one quarterback, you probably could get a pick where you could get and a player out of it where you could get a quarterback. That's probably where I'm aiming for my quarterback.
So would you go for like a Mahomes and?
No, I think
second?
because with Mahomes starting, his value's too high.
But Goff's is
to get-
higher.
Yeah, but you throw in the second. I think people.
And Goff's shown it for a full season. I think.
I mean,
Mahomes in a
if
second.
I would definitely talk to the guys for Mahomes, and I'll definitely talk to the guy for Mahomes. If he doesn't do it, then I'm going down to the guys that are coming out, and I'm trying to get like your Baker Mayfield. But I'm going to try to get something on top of that. I'm not just going to do Baker for Goff. You know.
Yeah, you'd want to pick.
I'm going to try to get something else on that. But you know, I do value Goff high because you look at it. His coach, mastermind, great. His running back was one of the best this year for fantasy purposes, especially receiving the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I would.
Lots of checkdowns.
Yeah, I would. And you know what? If I don't get that trade, I mean, it's not part of the game. I would be happy keeping them all.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
Oh
yeah, easily.
And then
once someone gets hurt or some.
Well, then when Wentz came back, then I would trade Kirk because like you, I would want my studs, my
young
stud,
guys. Yeah.
So, but if I was in a pinch and say I had a hole at one of those points, I would try to look for something like that.
All right. Well, that's the end of our game. BJ, why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to talk about how to really be successful in Dynasty, how to start up your league, how to do good in your startup draft, and how to, even if you're struggling, how to turn around your team.
If you struggle in the startup draft, you got a couple years of trying to turn it around.
The key to Dynasty is nailing that startup draft. Me and Mitch actually just got done with one that we shared a team. We may go over a little bit of that because we think we did really good.
Mm-hmm.
We have one weak point, but it should be pretty easy to fill with all the
I don't
pieces
think
we
it'll be
got.
too hard.
And then we're gonna play another
will
little
he
game.
Stay or will he go?
We're gonna play another little game with the free agents and determining if they're gonna stay with their team, if they're gonna go or where they're gonna go.
And best landing spots, worst landing spots, just where they could go in general,
and where their value is gonna be highest, and that's gonna be major. Looking at these free agents, even if they go somewhere else, their value still may take a little dip because they're chasing money.
And since we hit so hard on quarterbacks this week, we may lay off from next week.
Definitely, I think it's gonna be running back, wide receiver heavy next week.
Tight ends, unless we run into some more quarterback news, it may be.
Yep. Obviously, if there's any headlines out there, we'll bring them up. I had fun.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Hope you guys had fun listening to us.
Yeah,
and see you next week.